the USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. From Seaside, it's the USL Championship on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. Tonight's match is brought to you by Monterey Surf Soccer Club. With their backs against the wall, Monterey Bay won't go down without a fight in front of the home crowd. And the home crowd is exactly the motivation for New Mexico United. Not only are the playoffs in their crosshairs, but postseason play at the Lab is also in the cards if they play it right for this final stretch. Welcome one and all to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey. Right now, New Mexico United right in the thick of the logjam in the Western Conference. Every win feels like an immense high. Every low means you start dropping way down the standings. Meanwhile, Monterey Bay FC not mathematically eliminated, but you're starting to crunch those numbers now as far as can they make the playoffs. And the reason they're in this spot, Gary, is because they have not been good as of late. They need to close the season in positivity.
They do, and they have 4 home games of their remaining 5 matches, and what Coach Jordan Stewart's asking for is pride. Give the home fans something to go for. Probably won't make the playoffs, but they want to have wins at home at Cardinale Stadium. And that's what he's asking for this evening.
He's asking for energy as well. And Tyrick Scott, since he's joined the club, has provided a little bit of that energy.
A special player, 8 appearances already for FC Dallas for the young 20-year-old. He's got something special, something that maybe can drive Monterey Bay forward in terms of creating goals. And I fancy looking forward to seeing him alongside Johnny Klein up front.
Last time they scored, it was because of Tyrick Scott. Here's New Mexico United. Now, the deal is they were in a bit of a slump, Gary. They've been able to finally get some winning results as of late, though, coming off a disappointing match against FC Tulsa where they conceded late in the game. But Dennis Sanchez, he maintained that positivity during the negative stretch. Surely they're feeling pretty good after 2 straight wins in a row prior to that last result, and they're looking to keep the good vibes going here in the final stretch. And one of the guys who's been providing the good vibes is Greg Hurst.
Yeah, 5 goals this season. He's a quality player up front, good with both feet, very good with the head as well. And he'll be looking to get some service from those around him, Dayon Harris, Marlon Vargas, and even from the midfield, Usman Jabang, Zico Bailey. If they can supply him good service, he can do damage.
And do damage he'll seek to do in this one. That margin between hosting the playoffs and missing it entirely is razor thin for the visitors. Monterey Bay hope to make it harder for them in this final home stretch. Lineups and kickoff are up next after this break. We'll see you then.
As Montage Health celebrates its 90th anniversary, we're taking a look at the past, recognizing how we started and where we are heading. Over the decades, we have grown from a hospital to an entire healthcare system. Today, Montage Health remains an independent, locally owned, nonprofit organization. We are proud to offer healthcare services for every chapter of life. At Montage Health, our history of excellence is rooted in a commitment to our community. That commitment lives on today and for the next 90 years and beyond.
At Taylor Farms, our goal is to create healthier lives by creating healthy, fresh foods. A stronger community is a win for everyone. That's why each time the Monterey Bay Football Club scores a goal, Taylor Farms will donate $500 to a local nonprofit. Healthy goals, healthy lives. A more perfect union. We are Union!
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. Monterey Bay FC versus New Mexico United. Mark Schoenster, Gary Bailey with you here on the broadcast. Let's take a look at how these two teams will be trotting out to start this game. First off, the home side.
3 changes to the team that lost to Hartford. P.S. Galloway comes in, Adrian Rebela and Xabi Nolati. Alex Lara not available. On the bench, Moby Fair and Luke Ivanovic are the players who step aside in that sort of 4-3-3, perhaps 4-2-3-1 shape. We'll see how it works out. And look, of course, for Johnny Klein and Tyrick Scott up front. They are the big threat in attack.
Johnny Klein had so many chances in that last game, but couldn't quite put it away. Meanwhile, this is how Dennis Sanchez will be rocking.
2 changes to the side that lost to FC Tulsa. Kip Keller comes in. Jalen Lindsay to the bench. Marlon Vargas in. Valentin Noel out. It's a 4-3-3 shape. And Chris Shakes keeps his place in goals with regular keeper Alex Tambakis on the bench.
Worth noting, Valentin Noel not only leaving the starting lineup, but not even on the bench here this evening. There's our head official, donning the black uniforms today. Matthew Corrigan will be leading that squad. Making sure he stays loose and fresh and ready to go. Officiating crew, they gotta do some running as well throughout the match. See, it's the blue for Monterey Bay, yellow for New Mexico United. So primary colors for each side today. The benefit of both sides having a very different color scheme. A lot of home games here to close the end of the year for Monterey Bay. Just under 70 degrees in Seaside as this one gets ready to go. It'll be New Mexico United going right to left, the home team going left to right. We are off and running from Seaside at Cardinale Stadium. Will New Mexico United keep pace in the Western Conference playoff race? Will Monterey Bay claw back some form here in the final stretch? Once again, Mark Schoenster, former Manchester United goalkeeper Gary Bailey with you here on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. Manchester United getting the victory earlier today, Gary, so the mood is high in this booth.
We'll take any victory we can get at the moment for Manchester United. Exciting match, though, in many ways, Mark, because for New Mexico, it's not only a case of how high can they get and can they get a home playoff place, but just behind them, 4 points behind, is at 9th position in Orange County. So you lose this, suddenly you're looking over your shoulder. No guarantees are going to get a playoff place as yet. So incredibly important match for the visiting side.
Seymour trying to push this one forward, but instead finds Miles Lyons. We've been dubbing it the Wild West all season long, and it's just continued to deliver as Hurst plays it back to Bailey. Zico Bailey, he can shoot from distance. Shot deflected away, but they'll keep pushing. Nyalati taps it out wide to Klein. Monterey Bay will look to settle it down. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by ROL&M, local injury attorneys. Now Daniel Bruce, been long gone out for the year. Meanwhile, Elijah Paul recently, looks like he's not gonna return this season. Ethan Bryant was a bit more questionable coming into this game, but not available for selection come Saturday. So that is where the availability is at for these two units.
We've spoken about New Mexico and the importance of this match to them. For Monterey Bay, besides the pride, and with 4 of the 5 matches remaining, Jordan Stewart wants the team to end off this season on a high with some good home wins. There is the outside possibility they can still make the playoffs, but they'd have to win virtually every game starting here tonight. So while there's life, there's hope, and if they were to win, then there would be a sparkle of possibility for these Monterey Bay fans. So a lot for the home side to play for as well.
Long ball down to Bailey. Zico Bailey lays it off to his left for Vargas. He'll tap it to Gloucester. Good sliding challenge to knock the ball away. Miles Lyons on the intervention. Had a home game last time out, Monterey Bay, and unfortunately, it's not a flattering scoreline. 4-0 against Hartford Athletic. Even though the final score is 4-0, I think the takeaway from that game that I had, it's the same that George Stewart had, which is that I don't think that does justice to how competitive Monterey Bay were in that match. A lot of late goals when they were trying to push to find something.
Yeah, Johnny Klein had a couple of good chances early on, and then that second goal only came in the 85th minute. So until then, it was extremely close.
Several chances to tie the game up 1-1, and just couldn't put it away. But it was a game that George Stewart admitted that once those few last goals started trickling in, it really felt like an emotional blow. they knew how much they needed a result in that game to stay reasonably alive in the playoff race, and they felt it as each of those goals started to trickle in. And of course, Hartford Athletic have been in fantastic form, though they did lose earlier today to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, which adds an interesting wrinkle to the Eastern Conference race.
If you look back at New Mexico's last match as well, and they were totally on top against FC Tulsa, had a bunch of opportunities, much higher expected goal, and then an unfortunate goal in the 93rd, an own goal as well. So must have been a very also emotional locker room after that defeat for New Mexico.
Nearly 70% possession, nearly 400 passes to Tulsa's just 139. Over 9,000 fans in attendance at that one for Meow Wolf night as well. But soccer can be a cruel game. But I don't think that quite wipes out the good form that New Mexico United have now found themselves in. They're on 2 straight wins prior to that. And that was after going 9 games winless. So yeah, a loss against Tulsa stings, especially in that manner, but with the way they performed in that game, Gary, knowing where Tulsa is at in the standings, you still have to feel pretty good about how your team is performing in a broad sense if you're Dennis Sanchez.
I would agree with you there. I think they have looked much better than the last result showed. And 2 wins before that suggested they're on the right track. Dennis Sanchez did so well with Las Vegas last year and got them rolling towards the end of the playoffs. Maybe he can do the same here with New Mexico.
Seymour switches it to Gloucester. Over in the left channel, Chris Gloucester all by himself. That's Marlon Vargas. Keller, the recent loanee from Minnesota United FC. Good work to be kept in play there over on the right-hand side. Dayon Harris tracking back to keep it in along the touchline. This is just how New Mexico like to have it, which is having the ball, moving it around. A team that is at the top of the league when it comes to every possession stat that you could think of. Seymour. It was a loose touch and it just got away from him. You said it, Gary. 4 of 5 games left at home, counting this one for Monterey Bay, as Will Seymour clutching his right boot.
He was just stretching there to try and get the ball, left his foot in an exposed position. The assumption is it got stood on, which was always a painful situation. There is Jordan Stewart just trying to point out what's going on the pitch and what he needs his players to do. Been a tough time for Jordan Stewart. They looked so good early on in the season, Monterey Bay. Got themselves right up into about 3rd position. Then, bit by bit, they've sort of slipped their way down the table to where they sit now, which is bottom of the West. It's been a real tough time for the coach and the players to see themselves fall down the table.
And as you mentioned, at this point of the season, even though they're not technically eliminated, it's about pride. And not just pride for the players and for the coaching staff, but also for the fans, because you hear the drumming in the background, you see the fans in the stands, they're still paying money to come see this team perform. And so he said, look, we need to put on a good show for those people as well, not just for ourselves.
There's also the pride the players have, and they're playing for contracts, they're playing those who want to stay at the club for renewal, those who feel they need to leave for whatever reason to impress other clubs. So there still is a lot of importance in every one of these games for the Monterey Bay team.
Big chance to leave an impression as a ball player, as they'll have an opportunity to carry it forward. Nyalati still with it. That's actually Robinson. He'll shoot. It's off target. Robinson can be dangerous over on that left-hand side when he goes forward.
He's more of a supplier of goals, 3 assists this season, no goals to his actual name. quite a tight angle. Puts a little bit too much height in it as well. Didn't get to test Chris Shakes at all.
Prodding ball going forward. Shakes just has to boot that one away. He had an assailant coming for him. New Mexico United and Monterey Bay on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. Been a busy slate of games here this evening as we're really getting to that final stretch of the season in the USL Championship. Still so much to play for teams all across the East and the West. Some big results earlier today. And we'll continue to shake up where teams fall in the standings.
Las Vegas losing at Lou City, which is no surprise, but it does mean if Monterey Bay should win this game, they'll only be 4 points behind Phoenix Rising in that last playoff spot. The only problem is they would have played 2 matches extra, which leads us to the point again, with 5 matches left, you almost need to win all 5.
Revelar plays it centrally, chested away for a corner kick. Was looking for Scott in the middle.
Good run on the right-hand side from Adrian Revelar. Such a clever player out wide. Just whips it into the box, but defenders getting there before strikers. You just wonder, could a striker have made that near post run or not?
Here is a bagel corner kick. It'll be our first corner kick of the evening. And Xavi Nialati will play it short. Lions returns the favor. Nialati still with it, chips it up. Was trying to sneak it in.
Did so well, Nialati, to get himself into that dangerous position. And the final piece of the puzzle is a pullback. And instead he gets it high and over the crossbar. If he could have just whipped it across the box, maybe he could have found one of his teammates, but a nicely played short corner.
Looking to catch New Mexico United off guard. Take it quickly, take it short. See if you can catch them lacking. This will roll all the way back to Nico Campuzano, 27-year-old Spaniard goalkeeper. Kip Keller rolled out to Usman Jabang. Gloucester. Now it's Marlon Vargas. Another sliding challenge. Holds that one immediately from Pierce Galloway, and he's knocked over for a free kick.
Galloway doing so well there. A, to win the ball, and then B, to win the free kick. That's a clever player. He just takes a little bit of pressure for his team. They can get a breather and move some players around. There he wins it, and then he just feels that contact from behind and goes down.
Galloway will chop it over to the left-hand side. Searching for Klein. Ball airborne in the backfield. Nialati into the 18. And he'll take a glance out for another corner kick.
It's good pressure coming from the home side, winning these corner kicks and giving themselves an opportunity to put some decent ball into the danger area.
It'll be another bagel corner kick.
And you've got the likes of Nico Gordon in there, Carlos Guzman. Those are big target players. Wesley Fonguk. Just need a quality ball in there to really test this New Mexico defense.
Miles Lyons will provide the service from the left corner flag. Driven ball deflected towards goal. Shakes had to deal with it. Played near post. They may get another service whipped in here. It'll be driven. Booted away. I believe Kip Keller, the one who provided the clearance. USL on the let's do it here, actually. USL on the CBS Sports Network continues in September with Championship Eastern Conference rivals battling to stay in the playoff hunt. Indy 11 take on Birmingham Legion FC on Sunday, September 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network.
Plenty of Monterey Bay players in this half of the pitch. You can see the blue shirts, it's 7-8, trying to get some turnover ball in a dangerous position. It just shows you the positive nature of what Jordan Stewart's trying to set out here. Is it's push numbers up. It might leave us a little bit vulnerable to a counter-attack, but we're at home. We have to dictate the sort of pace of the game, and they've certainly tried to do that in these first 15 minutes, have the home side.
Talk about positivity. Monterey Bay certainly looking to play with it in this match, and positivity was definitely the energy I got from Jordan Stewart when he talked about the opposition. He called New Mexico United the team that have the best style of play in the league. Always admired how Dennis Sanchez sees the game, and this is a team that, as we discussed already, likes to have the ball, likes to have possession and dictate how the game flows. And Jordan Stewart said that it'll get ugly if you give them too much respect in the match. You can't let them dictate the game. So they'll be aggressive, try to be smart with their pressing. He was really looking forward to it, saying this should be a fun match. Rivas rolls it out to Greg Hurst. Hurst plays in the middle for Bailey. He's looking to feed it back through. Funguk. It's a bit messy, but dealt with. Now Johnny Klein. Played up ahead to Nyalati. Nyalati still going with it. Trying to shoot, but the shot is smothered. Usman Jabang was with him every step of the way.
It's a great tackle from Jabang. He didn't get the first bite, but he kept on going, didn't give a foul away, bided his time. Good tackle, but also good attack there from Noelati. I'd like to see Johnny Klein get on the ball more on that left-hand side. Such a dangerous player, and would expect them to try and get some service to him as well.
Another one of those players picked up during the season. Johnny Klein, though, he's been here for a good bulk of the season. This is his 19th appearance in league play. Fonguk. Goes well there. Now Lottie rolls it ahead. Here's Tyrek Scott. Steps by one defender. And he'll keep pushing forward. But Jabang shields the ball away. Tyrek Scott is down.
Yeah, taking a bit of a knock. They got a lovely nutmeg on the first defender, and then unfortunately the second one stepped in and he collided with him. But some nice play there from Tyrek Scott.
Lions. It's Pierce Galloway, and he'll roll it back to Guzman. This is the 8th edition of this series all time between Monterey Bay and New Mexico United. Nyalati's been very involved. And thought he earned a corner kick, but the officiating crew deeming it went off of him last.
No, he's not happy about it. He feels that he played the ball off the defender. And if he's made his decision, not much he can do now. Just going back to when they met, you talked about previous games. They met back in April. Usman Jaban getting the only goal of that match.
Yeah, that was all the way back late April at Isotopes Park. A lot has transpired since then, Gary.
It has. Those were the days when Monterey Bay were probably in the top 4 of the league. Now it's no wins in 8, 6 of those losses. And like you said, even the last match against Hartford, that they were in the game up until the 85th minute or thereabouts. Yeah, 85th minute when the second goal went in, and then they conceded 3 in quick succession. And Johnny Klein had 3, maybe 4 opportunities to have scored in that period. So by no means were they played off the park. The scoreline of 4-0 looks terrible, but it was a lot closer than that.
Bailey rolling it ahead. This is Dayon Harris. Harris, who has become much more of a recent fixture in the lineups. This being his 4th start, all of which being in these now last 4 games. 28 years old from Milton, Ontario. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the latest and complete USL TV listings. Scott, spray it out. It's Johnny Klein who tap it back to Grant Robinson. That's Funkuk, actually. Now Robinson has the ball.
All given away there, and a little bit of frustration amongst the Monterey Bay players. And just looking at their previous matches, they've been frustrated in games in which they should have got something. Given their expected goals, for example, against Colorado Springs, they had a much better expected goals. They lost 2-1 there. Against Oakland, way better expected goals. Lost 1-0 there. So in games they've created the chances, they just haven't tucked them away in the back of the net as often as they would have liked.
And I think that's the part that's befuddling about this team this year. George Stewart telling us that he'd be much more frustrated if they weren't creating and generating those opportunities, but they have been. Just one reason or another, they haven't been clinical in that final space.
Well, both Johnny Klein have been brought in 7 games ago, 8 games ago, Tariq Scott as well, to try and to be that difference. The difference that Anton Soyberg and Elijah Paul were in the early parts of the season. They brought those players in to see if they can make that impact. And they have created chances, and Tariq Scott has scored 1, but still not enough for what Monterey Bay need.
And Johnny Klein coming in August from Charleston. Revelar applying some pressure there on Gloucester as it now goes out to Talon Maples. It's Monterey Bay FC Youth Night here at Cardinale Stadium. Asked Jordan Stewart if there was a particular game he went to as a kid that inspired him to really go pro, and he told me that he went to a bunch of games from 10 to 16 with his dad at Villa Park. And then after that, when he went to Leicester, he kept going to games, and although there wasn't a singular match where something happened that I guess the glimmer was found, he said being constantly immersed in it every weekend is an easy way to fall in love with a beautiful game. Tonight being a great chance for some of those youth teams to have that opportunity to fall in love and see what it's like to play at the professional level, and perhaps keep coming to these games and growing that love and appreciation little by little.
It's just amazing how much soccer's grown in the US in the last, I think, even 5 years. The depth of the USL, the number of new teams that have joined, USL League One, the promotion, relegation possibilities in a couple of years' time. Can't wait for that.
I don't think American fans are ready for the adrenaline that comes with that.
Well, there's going to be so much excitement. Even the singing, the dancing, the nice mixture of European songs and South American dancing. It makes these games so much fun to go to, because you don't always get the goals that I think Americans would like, but you get so much entertainment at the ground anyway. And I think it's just, the game is just growing in leaps and bounds.
Johnny Klein looking to find some of those goals here, though. That pass is lacking. There's just that integral communal tie that comes with the sport, which is what the USL has been emphasizing as it's grown throughout the years. Because like you said, you're not always going to get a 6-goal thriller every time you come out, but what you do get is you get to stand beside the people that are the other regulars who are supporting the club, and
even meet them beforehand and spend a bit of time together, and then maybe meet them afterwards depending on the result.
Kip Keller being called for the contact on Scott. In the frame there, two players who are loanees from MLS clubs. Sure to have clashed also at the MLS Next Pro level as well. North Texas and Minnesota United 2. Another example of not only the league growing in its club count, in its support, but also in the quality of play on the pitch, that you're getting MLS players who are becoming regulars at the USL Championship level, and it's not like they're dribbling circles around everybody.
There's money for that. There's money to bring in decent European players as well.
Right.
And the good thing is that there's enough talent being created here that players are actually leaving, young players leaving for Europe and leaving for the MLS and making the clubs big money. So it's wonderful to see how it's all growing together.
If you want to learn more about that, make sure you stay tuned in at halftime. We'll dive into the transfer market a little bit. So a good little tease for you in around 20 minutes.
It's Chris Shakes, and holding on to his place, keeping Alex Tambakis on the bench. And they have swapped in the last few matches. Tambakis played against Detroit City. Shakes played in the loss to FC Tulsa, although nothing he could do about the only goal that went in.
Right.
Frustrating for Tambakis because he's equaled Evan Newton's record of 58 clean sheets. Just needs one more to take the lead.
Free kick set up here for the home side. Perhaps a set piece will be where they can really do some damage. Johnny Klein and Grant Robinson will stand behind it. Got a clump of players to the left of the penalty marker. Klein will rip it inside. Not too much to talk about there. Revelar from the top of the 18, it takes a deflection. A scare for the visitors, and a corner kick ensuing.
That is a very good save from Chris Shakes. This takes a wicked deflection from Adrian Rebelar and just loops up, and it's coming down just under the crossbar. Look at the goalkeeper's agility, full stretch, just fingertips it over the crossbar. Brilliant from Chris Shakes.
A big corner kick now on the docket, thanks to Chris Shakes with the leaping punch over the crossbar. They could play it short again, or perhaps Miles Lyons will drill it inside. It will be the short option. Nyalati back to Lyons. A rip ball up the pitch, trying to find Greg Hurst. Von Guck does well. Guzman, good find to Revelar. Revelar across the middle! How it hasn't gone in, I couldn't tell you. It was a cluster in the 6-yard box.
Well, I think that was Wesley Funguk at the far post. He used his big body to get on the end of that. Great awareness there, Guzman, of the run by Revelar. And as it comes to the back post, is that Funguk who just gets his body? No, it's not. It's actually Nico Gordon, who just uses his body here, and it comes off his thigh, hits the crossbar. So close once again.
Jabang playing it up to Bailey. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
Well, we were just saying a few minutes ago how in each of the last 3 games, the expected goals difference hasn't shown up for Monterey Bay. They should have got much better results. And then again here, firstly they pull a great save out of Chris Shakes, then they hit the crossbar from Nico Gordon. They're just not having things their way in front of goal, Monterey Bay.
Gloucester with a good step inside, but then lost the ball. And then a lackluster pass. Nyalati finds Klein with a lot of yellow jerseys guarding just 3 players from Monterey Bay. Now Revelar has space. Getting numbers forward once again, Monterey Bay. Service sent in the middle. Nyalati goes down. Ref won't see anything of it. Von Guck. Tap it to Robinson.
It's a second cross they put in from out wide on the left, Monterey Bay. Low down at the near post, easily cleared this time around by New Mexico. The first clearance wasn't a good one. No, Lighty nearly got a shot on, but the quality of crosses coming in has to improve for me from Monterey Bay to give their strikers just something to work with.
So far, their good chances have come through the middle. You'd love to have some versatility in the way you attack a side. Robinson getting behind the back line here. What a challenge from Kip Keller. He's going to go down after the fact. He has been such an impact acquisition since being loaned. Came in his debut against Lou City on the road and was a beast on that back line, and he's continued to demonstrate his quality.
Crunching tackle, body followed through there, wins the ball cleanly. And I think the legs just contact. Maybe it's the knee of Grant Robinson that connects with Kip Keller's shin. Either way, it was painful, and it's still painful.
Good chances in a sequence here for Monterey Bay. But as Gary said, that's been the story so far in these recent months. Good chances, but not good goals. Robinson rolling it ahead for Klein. Klein's service dips down for Scott. Picked up by Lyons. Service sent back inside. It continues to be positive for the Crisp and Kelp.
Yeah, they certainly have the better stats, although it's still early in the game, but expect a goal of 0.2.
This is a lovely find. Nialati steps up to fire. It bounces off of Keller. And wouldn't you know, it's another corner kick, a bagel corner kick.
See the response of Keller, who was really annoyed here because Nialati's got all the time in the world to pick the shot, and the big center back is able to deflect the ball past the goal, but he turns around. There he goes. Where's the rest of my team? Where's my defensive midfielders?
Kelpie trying to rile up the crowd. They'd love to have him on this set piece. Nialati, he'll fire again! Straight down the middle, Chris Shakes. Ultimately, just has to let it hit his chest.
It was a good idea, but just ended up being straight at the goalkeeper. Needed maybe a deflection along the way. But once again, Monterey Bay asking questions. Poor marking on the edge of the box as well. That's the second time in a few minutes that players from Monterey Bay have been allowed some space on the edge of the box to pick a shot.
In particular, Xavi Nialati has had several positive moments in that attacking third. 2 straight striking opportunities just beyond the penalty area.
You know, the stats all in favor of the home side. 6 shots to 2. 10 touches in the opposition box to New Mexico's 4. So they're certainly leading the stats. The stat that's most important, of course, is the goals, and that's the one that's been eluding them in this latter half of the season.
You talk about goals eluding you. Last 4 matches, just 1 goal scored. And boy, did that goal against Colorado Springs take some elbow grease. It was a first time no good, second time no good, and then finally it goes through. And that was after Tyreek Scott had several opportunities in that game to score and couldn't, so they may need to just muscle in a goal in this one as well until it starts to click more cleanly for them.
But if you add the expected goals from the last 3 matches, they should have scored 5. They've scored 1 in 4, never mind 1 in 3, 1 in 4. So the actual goals they're scoring is probably it's 20% of the goals they should be scoring. And therein lies the problem. You mentioned that they need a top-class goal scorer. You put someone in here who can score, you know, 10, 15 goals, a Philip Goodrum, a Carl Jennings, and maybe you'll see a different Monterey Bay. And I thought Elijah Paul was that player early on in the season. Anton Soyberger scored 5. He looked like he could be that player, but he's on the bench today. I guess even Dennis Sanchez wouldn't mind a 10-goal
I was going to say,
strike.
I think every team would love to have a Philip Goodrum on their team. Wouldn't it be nice to just have a Cal Jennings? Hopeful ball all the way down the pitch. The outside flag does go up, but it won't be needed.
Problem with Charleston, they have MD Myers as well, who's scoring double figures. So they don't have 1, they have 2, maybe a third as well that's up there near the top in terms of scoring. So it seems like 1 or 2 teams have poached most of the good scorers.
Yeah, share some for the rest of us. Gloucester rips it in the middle. And that's a great clearance, because not only does it prevent any danger, but it also kept from going out for a corner. This is Greg Hurst. There's a second ball on the pitch. A good dummy through, chip back ahead. Vargas couldn't get under the end of it.
Good take from Campuzano there, just diving at feet, nice and brave. He's had a decent season, second most saves with 72 saves. He's been a busy goalkeeper this season. Only 4 clean sheets, but certainly I think one of the better players for Monterey Bay in what's turning out to be a not so great season. He has certainly been a positive light.
Jabang with a hopeful ball going forward, searching for Harris. When it comes to having a positive final stretch to the season, if you're Monterey Bay, Jordan Stewart said he wants his side to control what you could control, effort, mentality, etc. The results will come or they won't, but the fact of the matter is you got to at least have something to hang your hat on. They're going to give it their best, and he challenged his guys. What will you do with the time we have left this year? He said, look, it is a results business, but it's also an entertainment business, so we have to show the fight, which they have been, as you mentioned, with all those XG stats. It's not like they've been throwing in the white flag or throwing in the towel, but with the recent spell of results and with the dwindling playoff hopes, you just have to keep that going.
And they've got some good tests. I mean, this is a very good New Mexico United side, finished top of the West last year and might very well finish in a home playoff spot by the end of this season. Then they're up against Sac Republic at home. That's another tough one. Tampa Bay away, who are desperate for points, and then Pittsburgh at home. So I think you'll learn a lot more. Jordan Stewart will learn a lot more about his team and how they respond in these remaining 4 or 5 games.
Rebelar will wind back. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. A little under more, 5 minutes to go, plus stoppage time between these two sides. Rebelar heads it into the center. Be booted away by Talon Maples.
Once again, it's a creative move from Monterey Bay, switching from the left to the right. They header back from Adrian Rebelar. There's a runner into the box, but just can't quite find him. There's a lot to admire about the Monterey Bay play, except the final product not there, which we've said a few times, and I'm sure Jordan Stewart's sick of telling the players exactly the same thing over the last sort of 7-8 weeks.
Rebelar going for something there. Mexico United will restart with Chris Shakes, a player that they switched into the starting lineup when they were in that dip in form, just trying to find some sort of change to, well, shake it up, give them some new life, and he's taken that spot and held on to it, though there's a lot of faith in both of their goalkeepers, and of course, as you mentioned, I mean, a historic goalkeeper on the bench that is ready to step back in whenever his name is called. But sometimes you just need to make a change. Great settlement from Nyalati. Bongug. He's a big guy, he can take some contact. Now it's Klein. Not quite at the same stature. Another corner kick for the home side.
Certainly applying pressure to this New Mexico defense. And yet still, Johnny Klein, haven't seen enough of him in the last match against Hartford. He had 2, maybe 3 really good chances in the first half and looked lively around the box. But today, for some reason, up until this point anyway, it's been fairly quiet.
This will be our 4th Bagel corner kick to New Mexico United's 0 corner kicks in the match. Lions. The in-swinger over everybody's heads, ultimately harmless. Unless someone has something to say in the final moments here. Looks like it'll be 0-0 going into the break, and although Monterey Bay will feel the better of the two sides as far as how they've been playing, they also are gonna feel that deja vu.
Yeah, thinking back to Hartford, chances missed, and then just being picked off at the end of the game. Because they will have to push forward. They are the home side, they are playing for pride, they're not gonna sit on a 0-0 draw, you wouldn't think. So if they are gonna go for it second half, especially towards the end, they will leave a few gaps, and just think that New Mexico have the players to catch them on the counter-attack.
Speaking of counter-attack, Nyalati has Scott in front of him. He'll keep it going though. Nyalati has it back! Another great save from Chris Shakes. 1 minute will be tacked on as we have another Bagel corner kick after Chris Shakes once again has his name called.
He's making some fantastic saves, Chris Shakes. Lucky this comes back to Noelati, but he hits it quickly. And down to his right goes Chris Shakes. Gets a strong hand there to push it around the post. Really good, quick reflex save.
A Bagel corner kick. Seems like it's going to take everything for Monterey Bay to put this one in. And that just wasn't in on the service.
Yep. Bad service, giving away a free kick from pushing at the near post. Just letting good opportunities go for Monterey Bay. But having said that, the goalkeeper for New Mexico has come up with 2 excellent saves in this first half. Could have been a whole different story, but for Chris Shakes.
24 years old from Parkland, Florida. And you imagine that the whistle will sound the moment this ball takes flight. And right on cue. Scoreless after 45 plus. Monterey Bay will feel the better, but they also feel all too familiar with the 0-0 scoreline. New Mexico United find more of a spark in the second half, or will the home team break through in the second 45 for their own rights? With that, we've got some halftime content coming your way on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. We will see you there on the other side of this break. 0-0 once again, your scoreline here.
It all starts with a spark, an idea. That idea ignites into a dream.
The dream sharpens into a vision.
The vision fuels the process.
And through relentless craftsmanship, that process is forged into reality. Your vision,
Our craftsmanship.
one unforgettable legacy.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, me quedo ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo. Mr. Messi.
Make it look ultra. Cerveza light superior.
Are you paying too much for your car insurance? Call Coast Auto Insurance to receive a free quote and see how much you could save. Coast works with over 50 different insurance companies to make sure you get the best rate for your car, motorcycle, home, or business. Coast is a local company with local people. We do vehicle registration, SR22, and insurance for Mexico. Call Coast Auto Insurance today for a free quote and see how much we can save you. Or go to coastautoinsurance.com, where your peace of mind is guaranteed.
Halftime here between Monterey Bay and New Mexico United. The league has grown over the years, and so has its ability to produce and chip away talent. Let's take a look at how the USL has been doing in the transfer market.
No one said it would be easy, but the USL Academy to professional pathway is blazing a successful trail. More than 10 players on USL rosters are Academy products with professional contracts. A big deal and a big decision. Why? The pathway includes options. For many prospects, that's college soccer. Finn Sundstrom plays for North Carolina FC on an Academy contract. He now has valuable pro experience, but remains an amateur player. A different path is played out in Phoenix. 17-year-old Jamison Ping, a Phoenix Rising Academy member since age 12, was signed to a professional contract. This is now his career. Andy Chapman from Phoenix Rising FC joins us now. And Andy, Jamison Ping is very special to you because you've seen his process really from beginning to its current state. So what is it like to see something come to fruition through the academy process?
Yeah, no, it's obviously been exciting for seeing someone be given the opportunity, someone that's been on the fields with them for the last 5 years. I've gone through the whole process.
This entire landscape, big picture, coaches that are in your shoes on other clubs, all of you guys kind of in the same boat making this work?
Yeah, Liz, I think USL got a unique opportunity, and I think everyone's kind of using it to their advantage here. We should really push your players from a huge standpoint into that pro environment, and it's definitely a step up, but it's not for everybody. It's an endless opportunity for us to continue to grow.
USL clubs use their academies. Nearly 100 players have achieved academy contracts, opening doors for youth players to achieve their dreams of turning professional.
What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water unique? It's our commitment to making our bottles from at least 50% recycled plastic. In fact, Crystal Geyser is the only beverage company in the U.S. to exclusively own and operate 2 plastic recycling facilities. And you can help us make an impact too by always remembering to recycle your bottles. Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Simple, but not easy.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
As Montage Health celebrates its 90th anniversary, we're taking a look at the past, recognizing how we started and where we are heading. Over the decades, we have grown from a hospital to an entire healthcare system. Today, Montage Health remains an independent, locally owned, nonprofit organization. We are proud to offer healthcare services for every chapter of life. At Montage Health, our history of excellence is rooted in a commitment to our community. That commitment lives on today and for the next 90 years and beyond.
We welcome you back for halftime content here on the USL on Golazo. 0-0 your scoreline, Monterey Bay and New Mexico United. It's Mark Schoenster and Gary Bailey with you here on the broadcast. Here are the news and notes presented by Best Western. Cal Jennings starting to take the lead in the Golden Boot race. Meanwhile, Blue City, they're inching closer and closer to linking and connecting with the Eastern Conference crown.
Yeah, and they won again today against Las Vegas, 3-1, so they are just unstoppable at the moment, are the boys in purple.
Hartford Athletic looked unstoppable, though they did get defeated by the Pittsburgh Riverhounds earlier today. We'll be able to chance to look at all the scores here momentarily, but the race is heating up in every regard. Playoff spots, home playoff spots, the top of the playoffs, and the Golden Boot race, as I previously mentioned, with Cal Jennings currently leading the pack, but we still got a chunk of games that could shake up before we reach the end of the regular season. With that in mind, we've had a lot of matches today and some pretty important results. Why not take a look at them? These scorelines also brought to you by Best Western Hotels and Results. Gary, any of these stick out to you from the earlier slate?
Well, I guess they all do in one way or another. Hartford, after their fantastic run, losing at home. Detroit aren't safe yet in a playoff position. They lost at home to Lexington. Tampa Bay needed 3 points. They didn't get them, and that becomes a real stretch to make the playoffs. Las Vegas, well, they're pretty much out of it now after that loss. And Sacramento Republic just keep on rolling.
Colorado Springs, one of the hottest teams in the country, and Sac Republic knocking them off their feet. 0-0 your scoreline. Will that change after this break in the second half? Let's find out together.
Close to the spark, an idea. That idea ignites into a dream.
The dream sharpens into a vision.
The vision fuels the process.
And through relentless craftsmanship, that process is forged into reality. Your vision,
Our craftsmanship.
one unforgettable legacy.
At Taylor Farms, our goal is to create healthier lives by creating healthy, fresh foods. A stronger community is a win for everyone. That's why each time the Monterey Bay Football Club scores a goal, Taylor Farms will donate $500 to a local nonprofit. Healthy goals, healthy lives. A more perfect union. We are Union!
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. We're back here, and we've got some highlights for you to dig into. Although it's scoreless after 45 minutes, there are still some moments worth discussing here on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. Monterey Bay and New Mexico United doing battle. Let's start in the 14th minute. After a positive opening stretch for New Mexico United, it turned into a bit of a bombardment for the home side.
A whole bunch of corners, that one being saved by Chris Shakes, who was going to come up big so many times in this match here. Adrian Rebelar hits this one, takes a deflection, goalkeeper with a fingertip save over the crossbar.
Good grief, what a save from Chris Shakes. But it would keep pouring on for the home team. But the story in this game is how the story has been for months now, Gary, which is the chances are here, and for one reason or another, whether it be Chris Shakes, the woodwork, or some other divine intervention, it just won't go through for them.
Well, that was Nico Gordon's intervention just before his body hit the crossbar. That shot goes straight through to Chris Shakes, but he wasn't finished yet. The goalkeeper had a couple of more important moments, and this one coming up, Noelati just loses position. It comes back to him, and then he hits it. Goalkeeper makes a very good save down to his right-hand side.
Smacks it away with the palm, and it'll stay 0-0. Let's peek at the standings before this one gets going again to recontextualize where we're standing. First off, in the Eastern Conference, we mentioned Hartford Athletic dropping points to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, which closes that gap in the middle. There had been separation, and now Bob Willie's side trying to climb the standings. They know it's an outside chance to host a game at Highmark Stadium, but it is still within works, especially with the result here this evening. Now, the West, which is important for this game. New Mexico United in 5th. A victory could put them up all the way to 3rd. A loss could put them in striking range of the likes of Orange County, Colorado Springs. The Oakland Roots currently up against FC Tulsa right now, so they are sitting on 28 points. The West has just been such quality entertainment throughout the year, and I think it's going to be a picture-perfect finish. Final match weekend of the season.
Certainly every chance. And the bottom line, though, this match more important for New Mexico because they can aim for that home playoff spot. They can try and avoid being dragged into a battle for that 8th spot. And so for them, that team in picture, big 45 minutes coming up. For Monterey Bay, more about pride, more about trying to get some wins at the end of the season that sort of can build them up for the start of next season, can leave their fans happy. But for this team in yellow, professionally, massive 45 minutes now.
And this is the result you got to get. I understand it's a road game, and you have the context of a team that's playing with not as much to lose as you do. But if you want to be a contender, not only to make the playoffs, but to then be a team that makes a run to the final, you got to put away results like this against the Monterey Bay team that's been down on their luck as of late. And yet, as we enter the second 45 minutes, it's the home side that have been much more likely to claim all 3 points here. You saw Chris Shakes make some big stops. You've seen other opportunities just marginally miss the back of the net.
Just to give you some of the stats, expected goals first half 0.65 for the home side, so they're expected to score just over half a goal. 0.07 though for New Mexico. In other words, they really haven't had much of a look at goal. And shots inside the box, 5 for the home side, 0 for New Mexico. And the final stat, touches in the opposition box, 12 for Monterey Bay, 5 for New Mexico. So once again, they haven't really impacted the match of the visiting team. But the bottom line is, it's 0-0, and they feel that they can probably start opening up in the second half, put Monterey Bay under some pressure, and try and get that all-important goal. And if they do, they will have to say a big thanks to their goalkeeper, Chris Shakes, for 2 wonderful saves in that first half.
One objective coming into this game for Jordan Stewart was the fact that they couldn't let New Mexico United dictate the entirety of the match, and they've done a great job of that. Just comparing their last match to this one, New Mexico United had nearly 70% possession against FC Tulsa. In this game, they're just at 54%, which that's a pretty significant dip Now granted, FC Tulsa, one of those teams that is comfortable away from the ball. But Monterey Bay knew it would be trouble if New Mexico United were the ones that were dictating the tenor of the match. That's certainly not been the case so far through 45 plus. Harris feeds it into the middle. Vargas poking it through two defenders. Seymour trying to return the favor. Lions whipping it up the pitch. I was hoping Revelar could reel it in. No one gets away from Sergio Rivas. Nyalati once again going forward. Good pass to Scott. Falls through for Klein. Still going, and it's a goal! They continue to knock on the door, and now Xavi Nyalati breaks it down.
Well, you fancy it's been coming in the entire first half. They had chance after chance, and only great goalkeeping from that man there kept them up. But eventually, they get a breakthrough. A little bit of wrestling going on in the box, and I think the New Mexico defenders were asking the referee for a foul. Have a look here at this point. There, Tariq Scott just getting caught up, and question marks as to whether that there was allowable. But once that ball goes free, tucked beautifully by Xavi Nyalati into the corner, and they've got the breakthrough they've been looking for at Cardinale Stadium.
As far as league play is concerned, it's Xavi Nyalati's first goal of the season, and it's another healthy goal brought to you by Taylor Farms. He has scored in other competitions this season, Nyalati. But it's a big goal for the home side, a earned goal for the home side. Once again, it took some scrapping, but it falls through for Nyalati, and he gets the job done.
Just by the way, that was all started by Wesley Fongak in midfield, winning the ball and playing it forward right to the edge of the box to Tariq Scott, who then ran into the box and caused all sorts of confusion. So a number of players making an important contribution to Xavi Nyalati's goal.
Hurst looking to muster a response. And Monterey Bay hang on to this advantage. You know, the rest of the Western Conference, big fans of Monterey Bay right now. Rivas knocked over. That'll be a foul. Tariq Scott bumping into the veteran midfielder. Sergio Rivas, congratulations in order. Last game passed 10,000 regular season minutes in the USL Championship, and a lot of them coming with New Mexico United, having been with the club since the 2021 season. It's doubly important too because he grew up in Albuquerque, so playing for the hometown team. Speaking of importance, set piece here for the visitors who you want at least a point on the road. It's Vargas and Harris. Harris sends it in. No danger there. But they'll keep churning. For the first time this evening, New Mexico United will get a corner kick. And so far in this game, every single corner kick has taken place on this end of the pitch.
You just wonder if this goal will inspire New Mexico to actually push a bit more forward. They've been defending mostly in the first half. And already you can see, as you say, they get their first corner. They look more energized to get back on level terms.
Dayon Harris takes it short. Vargas with the cross. Headed up in the air by Talon Maples. Second effort, knocked away. And there is a collection of players down after that collision, and it seems like head contact in the air for Talon Maples and his defender in front of him.
Tell you one thing, Talon Maples is a brave man, because when that ball bounced up in the air, you could see Nico Campuzano coming out to punch it, and Maples goes and heads it. Have a look, it gets knocked up in the air, and then the keeper's coming out, and Maples, knowing it, goes up and challenges him, and then there's a punch and heads collide, and a lot of bravery there from both defense and attacker.
Nico Gordon, the third man down on the ground, as that was a sandwich in the air. Goalkeeper, defender, and attacker. Talon Maples also a defender, but on the attacking end in this occasion.
Just shows you the commitment of the players. Nobody can question Monterey Bay or New Mexico at this stage of the season as to what they're prepared to put into this match to win it. Just wondering if everyone's looking at their phone to get the other scores, or whether there's something more interesting happening.
Fans in attendance here, locked in on the match, and we'll be locked in on how this impacts the standings. New Mexico United with 0 points coming out of this one, which means San Antonio and Lexington will hop them coming into the weekend. And like I mentioned, the teams below New Mexico United will be licking their lips. Phoenix Rising, Colorado Springs, Orange County. The Oakland Roots still in the mix, and look at Monterey Bay moving up a spot with Las Vegas having lost earlier today against Lou City. It's worth reiterating, it's the games in hand that every other team has over Monterey Bay that really makes their playoff chances low. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Well, just wondering about substitutes, and I see a sub, Luke Ivanovic, on the side of the pitch, so it looks like there's some changes coming. There's a number of options besides Luke Ivanovic. They've got Anton Soyberg, their top goal scorer, Mayela Malango. So expect to see some, if not all of them, in the second half for the home side. Of course, New Mexico options as well. Miquela Akale on the bench. Luther Oshimet, former Monterey Bay striker, and Thomas Amang. So from now onwards, for the next 15-20 minutes, expect to see the coaches make a bunch of changes as they try and influence the outcome of this match.
We're 10 minutes into the second half, and after 45 minutes of Monterey Bay trying to break through, they find the go-ahead goal. Moments into the second half, Xavi Nialaudi burying his shot, which gives the home team the lead. Got Talon Maples slow to get up on the other end after that ball was released, and a substitution will be made for the home team as Tyrick Scott will exit. And you mentioned his name, Luke Ivanovic will sub in his place. The 20-year-old exits. The 25-year-old Australian is now on the field. 4 goals, 1 assist this season.
He's a much more natural striker, Ivanovic, than Tyrick Scott. Probably Scott more playing as a 10, not as big and strong, more of a supplier of opportunities, whereas Luke Ivanovic is used to leading the line from up front.
That substitution brought to you by BBSI. Foster will roll it back. Usman Jabang will interact with Talon Maples, who switches it over to Seymour. Will Seymour shrugs off Klein. That's a big man just being indifferent to the pressure. Jabang. Lovely ball up ahead. It's kept in play. Hurst with the cutback pass. Vargas weaving forward. Still has the ball. Finally dispossessed. And it was messy inside the penalty area. And now relief for the home team.
What's better from New Mexico? They're getting into that box. They're causing problems. Yes, in the end, free kick given away. But they have possibilities. You can always get tripped up and win a penalty. Get a shot on goal.
So 1-0 your score line here. The goal being scored back in the 48th minute. Xavi Nyalati, who's had a lot of positive moments in this game, gets his. It scuffles through, and he does well to do away with the chance.
It's a little bit lucky the ball does end up going to him. Tyreek Scott just battling away, and the ball shot out the side. And just a reminder that the man who made it all possible was Phong Gok. Won the ball in midfield, drove forward, and played that ball right through to Nalati on the edge of the box. Seemed to have a very good record, Monterey Bay, against this team, New Mexico, at home. Played them in the last 3, 2 wins and a draw. So maybe there's just some teams that, you know, just somehow works against them. It certainly seems to be the case so far with this 1-0 lead.
Lions taps it inside. Some tidy passes. Nyalati gets by one man. Another save required by Chris Shakes.
Wow, the fact that it fell to him in a very similar position in which he scored. And it came to him, I thought he was going to hit it first time. He then pushed it wide. Have a look at it here. As it comes to Noah Lighty there, I thought hit it, and then he goes wide of the defender. Then he does get the shot on, which the goalkeeper saves yet again.
Shakes. That pass deflected out. Nothing easy here as Phong Guk applied the pressure. This is a Monterey Bay team that has never lost its fight. Jordan Stewart gave credits to the guys. Almost every game this season has been super competitive, and they've always fought to the end, including that 4-0 game where even after they conceded, they still were pushing forward, trying to find goals. I mentioned it in the first half, and I'll say it again. Jordan Stewart told us that he'd be more frustrated if they weren't creating chances, but they have been, and the guys have been putting in the work, extra training after practice, more film sessions, doing everything they can to mend that lack of clinicality. They haven't lost that fire, which is oh so important. And it showed in this game 2/3 of the way through, and they have very much been the better side. And for once, the scoreline reflects that.
Yep, I think that's a very fair comment. The scoreline hasn't been their friend in so many of their games.
This one falls through on the right-hand side. Harris, it's well blocked. It's Grant Robinson getting in his way.
But now you have to ask the question, Monterey Bay have been chasing games, falling behind. Now they're in the lead. How good are they at closing out a game? Can they keep this 1-0 lead? Can they counter-attack New Mexico, make it 2-0? Because it's one thing saying you're unlucky not to score the goals, but Jordan Stewart will want them to be professional enough to see out this win, especially on home turf.
Jabang will take it wide, then cuts it in for Rivas. You said it earlier that it would be the home side that's more inclined to be aggressive when it was a 0-0 draw, but now the script flips. Bailey trying to play it ahead to Dayon Harris. New Mexico United now the side that have all the motivation to throw numbers forward, be aggressive.
When that happens, though, you need to look to catch them on the counter-attack and get that second goal to sort of more or less put the game to bed. And Luka Ivanovic is that player to do. He's got to do it. He's got some pace up front. He just needs the right quick service when When New Mexico throw too many numbers forward, can they get the ball to Luka Ivanovic quickly?
Klein, an opportunity. He'll step forward. He's patient with it though. Nyalati, back to Funguk. Grant Robinson now. He finds Galloway. And a free kick on the docket for Monterey Bay. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Johnny Klein along with Robinson behind the dead ball. Robinson, the one who ends up taking it. Could be something here. A lot of yellow jerseys pushing forward. Harris. Well, you admire the enthusiasm, but it's floated too far ahead.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't a good ball from Harris, but you go back a step before that. Robinson's free kick was a very poor one, and it allows New Mexico to get the ball and counter-attack in numbers. So, again, you're looking at the quality of Monterey Bay. You're 1-0 up. Can you spring your strikers on the counter-attack, and can you make sure that you don't get caught yourself in transition? And they were for a moment there, and only that very, very poor ball from Dayon Harris got Monterey Bay off the hook.
Nico Campuzano able to just catch that one. New Mexico United coming into this weekend had an 84% chance to make the playoffs, according to Nicholas Murray, who's the senior director of the editorial team at the USL. Of course, a loss here, should this result stand, it's gonna take a ding to their chances. Currently projected, or not currently, but were projected to finish 4th coming into the weekend, which would mean a home game to start off postseason play. But you've talked about it,
yep.
We've talked about it. The moment you start looking up and your ambitions are top 4, a slip up, and suddenly you're worried about even making the dance.
That's it, just do the job game by game. It's very difficult to know what the odds are going forward. Nicholas Murray is very clever the way he does work it out, but things can change so quickly though that most coaches will say to you, let's just deal one game at a time. Right now, New Mexico have to find a way to get back in this match. And they really are struggling. Monterey Bay looking dominant and strong on home turf.
Now Lottie's all by himself on the left-hand side. They won't go in that direction. Bailey rolls it. Now it's Vargas. He didn't like his options going forward, so he'll tap it back. Dayon Harris. I like the idea, but he's too far ahead of Jabang. Johnny Klein will race towards this one. McKellar is also alongside the ball. Calmly done from the center back. It's a little bit precarious. And the whistle will sound here.
That's good high pressing from Monterey Bay. And lucky, a little bit lucky New Mexico to get away with that. I think at the end of the day, it probably was just a foul, but they nearly nicked the ball in a very, very dangerous area. I'm just wondering now, 66 minutes, I can't see any activity on the side of the bench for New Mexico, but you have to think that maybe now's a good time to throw in a Carle with his pace, or a Mung or an Oshmed up front, and just try and mix things up, just bring a little bit of extra energy into this New Mexico side.
Yeah, over 65 minutes played by all the starters. You think you want to shuffle the deck a little bit here. We were wondering before the game if we would see Luther Archimed, the guy who started this year in the other jersey. Zico Bailey rolls it in the middle. There were a lot of blue jerseys who could seek that one out. Klein chipping it ahead, giving chase is Robinson. Gordon plays it out to Lyons. And that's a rough giveaway. Here comes New Mexico United. He tried to stay on his feet, Vargas, but this will be a bookable offense. Pierce Galloway, part of the giveaway, trying to make up for his mistake, though he does make another.
Yeah, he was frustrated that he gave the ball away. Wasn't aware of the players around him when receiving the ball. It's so important just to have a quick glance over your shoulder, see who's nearby. And then he chases back and took a bit of a risk. He might have got the ball, but he also knew that he might not. Have a look here, he just decides there to lunge it. To be fair, I think he actually might have got a bit of the ball, but he probably got the player as well. And I don't think it was a risk worth taking, but at least to stop New Mexico going forward. Now he's got to be careful of every tackle from now on.
Might be a situation where it's just as much about what transpired as much as it is about if it's deemed too reckless a decision. So whether he was able to get the ball or not, it deemed defensive or a risky play on the ball. Well, Gary, we've talked about New Mexico waiting to make changes, and it appears that two of the names we've been calling for are getting ready to step on, but not before this free kick. Harmless. All right, those changes will be made now. A reload up top. Mukwele Akale and Luther Archimed will sub into the match. Harris and Hurst are gone. Now here's Luther Archimed, number 29. Started the season with Monterey Bay, had 4 appearances in 2025, 11 appearances with the club last season. These substitutions brought to you by BBSI.
I think these are exciting substitutions. Firstly, it's a new energy that brings a spark to the entire team. And you've got Archimed as a former Monterey Bay player, so he's got an incentive. He's a big guy up front, so he acts as a target man. And then Akale's quick and sharp, and he can bring those dribbling skills to play. So all of a sudden, I think you'll see New Mexico will have a little spell here of perhaps dominance with the ball as these new players bring that extra energy to the side.
Nyalati, he's brought the energy throughout this match. Revelar. They'll play it back to Galloway. Chris Shakes able to claim it. George Stewart have been following Luther Archimed for quite some time, as George Stewart left the Sac Republic coaching staff. Archimed came in, but he was still pretty close with Mark Briggs, who was the man in charge of Sac Republic at the time, and he heard about his work rate, pressing, stretching the game with long runs. On the other end, though, Monterey Bay won't get the opportunity to really cushion the lead. Ivanovic was offside.
It's very close, and he lives on the shoulder, does Luka Ivanovic. That's why he's such a good player to use on the counter-attack. Just got to time it a little bit better than that, but it's something New Mexico will have to keep an eye on. As they throw bodies forward, they've still got to maintain vigilance and defense.
To offer a quick correction earlier, I meant Dennis Sanchez had been following Luther Archimed for a good hot minute and kept in touch with Mark Briggs. As Ivanovic tries to apply some pressure here and won't be successful, but continues to help wreak mayhem on that back line for New Mexico United. Vargas, nice step inside. It's booted away. Yalati able to poke it ahead. Klein keeps the ball rolling. It's Ivanovic. No need to rush forward. He didn't have much backup, and there were a lot of yellow jerseys waiting to close in. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms, and look out, Archimed. His pressure reaping some reward, but not dangerous enough. You can watch the USL Championship all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to uslchampionship.com for your complete TV listings. Tune in, you can get all the excitement that we've had in this one, although just 1-0. Certainly hasn't been lacking for interesting moments throughout. Akale. Now it's Rivas. Looking to combine with the substitute. Bailey plays it to Seymour. Rivas fires! Oh, so close! Nearly picked the top shelf. A sigh of relief for the home fans. It dings the woodwork. And now Johnny Klein, as a man making a run, opts to switch to the right-hand side instead to Revelar.
It's a poor cross, having done so much good work. But isn't this match going from end to end? Absolutely brilliant here. There's the shot. Watch it hit the post. Goalkeeper beaten there by Sergio Rivas. And there's just a little bend. It just bends and keeps bending a touch too much. But there was that. And then Campazana nearly had one taken off his toes by Archimed. It was a bit lazy and slow there. But Archimed bringing that extra energy we spoke about. So it is going end to end. I think they're going to give us a lot of excitement in this last 15 minutes, both these sides.
Sergio Rivas looking for his first goal this season. And what a goal that would have been. Revelar. He gets taken down. It was good jostling from Adrian Revelar. And the yellow card has been given to Chris Gloucester. Seemed like he had gotten the better of the transaction, but Adrian Revelar was not going to say die.
You see Revelar gets a touch there, just gets in front, and there's the pull. You can see the shirt tug very clearly from Chris Gloucester there. And that gets him his yellow card and the free kick. And to be fair to Monterey Bay, a 1-0 up, and they're still putting pressure on. Very impressed with how positive they're remaining.
So 2 more changes preparing themselves for Jordan Stewart's unit. And it's not of the conservative kind, I should say, Gary. Mael Malongo and Anton Soyberg ready to step on. There'll be 2 heavily involved players who will sub out once those changes are officially put on the board by our 4th official. Johnny Klein will be one of those stepping off.
He just hasn't had the impact he had last match, Johnny Klein. So time to freshen things up a little bit more for Monterey Bay so they can keep pushing forward.
So here are the changes for the home side. Anton Soyberg in for the goal scorer. Meanwhile, Johnny Klein will step off for Mael Malongo. Tonight's substitutions are brought to you by BBSI. There will also be 2 changes for the visitors, but first, the goal from the man subbing off now. Klein having a piece of it as well, as Xavi Nyolati subs off of the game, but has given his team the lead as it stands right now. A good night for the man, not only from the goal scored, but from all the other involvement he had. Here comes the set piece. Doesn't go too far, as another chance is curled towards goal. Not far off target. Archimed. Mael Malongo getting his foot on the ball for the first time. Jabang poking it forward to Bailey. Time becoming particularly finite here for New Mexico United. Play will go on. Do they have something in the works? Bailey squares it across. Akale, great save, Campuzano. He swats on it a second time too. Big time goalkeeping from Campuzano.
It certainly is. It's a brilliant save. Nice play from New Mexico, and Akale gets set up. They come down the left-hand side with Chris Gloucester. Goes right across, just gets missed there, and then Zico Bailey looks like he's going to shoot, pulls it back. Akale controls it. Great control, picks his spot, but fantastic left hand, and then the goalkeeper still gets up and slaps it away. Have a look at his left hand coming out, strong left hand, up he goes, right hand gets it away from any follow-up. And just wonder if that could be the save that wins Monterey Bay this match.
2 changes coming on now, brought to you by BBSI. This will be for the visitors. Gideon Zalalem and Carlos Miguel Jr. are on for Rivas and Usman Jabang. Nico Campuzano, one of just 2 goalkeepers with over 70 saves this season in the USL. Hugo Farouk being the other one.
And yet only 4 clean sheets. Maybe this could be his 5th today. It's been difficult for him to keep clean sheets when they've struggled in matches, Monterey Bay. But to your point, he's been asked to make a lot of saves, and he's come up trumps on most of them, and this game in particular. What a fantastic left-handed save that is.
He's been growing as a leader as well on the pitch. Obviously, you want some of those leadership qualities in your goalkeeper. He's always been super professional, Nico Campuzano. Willing to learn, always taking care of his body in the gym. And sure, he has ways to improve, but as we've said, and as Jordan Stewart told me, you look at the body of the work this season, it's been a good year, and he just needed professional matches because he didn't have a ton of those coming into the season. Archimed now trying to test him from far out, but lacking on the execution there.
I think he was trying to chip the goalkeeper there. You could see he was about 6 yards off his line, but didn't get it at all. Archimed, it ended up being just a back pass to his former goalkeeping teammate.
A lunging header from Kip Keller. Under 10 minutes of the allotted 90 minutes to go. Monterey Bay, although they're on the precipice of elimination in the playoff race, could get 3 big points at home. And they still have a lot of personal reasons to keep fighting on in this season. Meanwhile, New Mexico United, drop points can mean a slide down the standings in the West.
You have to look at some of the games coming up for New Mexico. If this result does hold, their next match is away at Colorado Springs. Now that's an extremely difficult place to go to. Then they've got Lexington at home, who've been on a good run, and then Phoenix Rising away. So to pick up on your point, if they don't get anything out of this match here tonight, it's very possible the next 3 matches might not produce a lot of points for them, and by the end of that they could find themselves sitting on the edge of the playoff line. So still a lot of work to be done yet by Dennis Sanchez and his team before they can claim they've made the playoffs.
It's so hard to play good news, bad news with New Mexico United as far as the other Western Conference results are concerned, because your opinion on which teams you want to get results depend on where you're trying to shoot for in the standings. And take, for example, earlier today, San Antonio with the 3-1 win over Orange County, which if you're pushing for a home playoff game, you don't like that because San Antonio FC is in the race with you. But if you drop this game and suddenly you're just worried about making the playoffs, that's a good thing because that means Orange County is less likely to catch up with you. So it's hard to really get a gauge on what you're going to need outside of how you play. Of course, your main focus is just going to be on yourself and how you perform. And
yeah, but it's a good point you mentioned, and I would tend to think my first job is to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be worried about 3rd or 4th place before I'm worried about getting in. So the fact that Orange County lost is probably a good result for New Mexico, especially if this result stands. And I think you just get yourself to the playoffs. How many times have we seen teams get to the playoffs in 7th or 8th position and go on great runs? So,
yeah,
you know, yes, you would like a home game. Of course you would for your fans, etc. But priority number 1, without question, just get in the playoffs.
Malongo stepping on that touch. Mael Malongo looking to stretch to the far post. Chris Shakes beckoning for a ball quickly. And some contact after the ball had exited. And a yellow card will be issued. You could hear the fans erupt in dismay. Will Seymour.
Seymour arguing with the referee about it. Let's have a look and just see what the involvement was. Oh yeah, no question. He's got an arm around the neck there of Adrian Rebela. It's nearly what they say in wrestling, a clothesline. And that's definitely a yellow. It could be borderline worse. I think he should have just taken the yellow and get on with the game.
I know it's a Saturday, but that's the wrong kind of football, Gary. I believe I saw another substitution being made. Thomas Among making his way onto the pitch as Soyberg swings in the service. No one's there to get to the end of it for the home side. And there is the substitution brought to you by BBSI. Among on, Vargas off. There's a look at the 27-year-old. He scored a dramatic goal against Las Vegas Lights a few weeks back. Down a man. They were able to salvage something from that game. Akale. Rolled up ahead. You'll see, I mean, look how far forward the center back Kip Keller is playing. Lovely find to Akale. He chips it up ahead. Bailey plays it back across to Akale. It's a body block, but it breaks through. It's feisty from New Mexico United. but it's also carnage inside the penalty area.
That's a bit of really good play there. Akale got that one going, just flicked the ball over the top. Zico Bailey was in on goal. Here's Akale, look, a little flick. Fantastic. Zico Bailey, head up, looking for options, plays it back. Akale, it's blocked on the line, and then the big man Luther Archimed, the former Monterey Bay player, is the one who gets the contact, and as he heads the ball, he gets hit hard. Have a look, goes up, there's the 29. Archimed is his own player, in fact, who crashes into him, Thomas Among.
Two players hungry to get on the end of that ball. Luther Archimed with his second goal of the season, both of which with New Mexico United. After starting with Monterey Bay at the beginning of this year. And now you just worry about the state of those two strikers. It's such a tough situation because you want your strikers to be so hungry to get on the end of that ball, and you see it floating up so temptingly right in front of goal that you get tunnel vision and you're not thinking about anything else. You're just sacrificing your body, and then it turns into friendly fire.
That's unlucky for Monterey Bay, though, because they'd blocked that one on the goal line. One of the defenders got his body in the way, and it just happens to go up perfectly for Luther Archimed to finish it off. And certainly Monterey Bay have had opportunities of their own. Mayela Malungo just, 5 minutes ago down the other end. One-on-one with Chris Shakes. Maybe should have done better, and they've paid the price here. And credit New Mexico for hanging in there tough and coming back with this equalizer. And again, credit Akale as we look at the tables. That little flick over the top to Zico Bailey, wonderful move. Just the 1 point will help New Mexico. I'll take anything they can get in that battle to remain in the playoffs. And especially with Orange County's loss today, that just gives them an extra point cushion between where they are now, New Mexico, and where trouble would be in 9th position and out of the playoffs.
So the whistle sounds. We're back into the fray of things. Late in this game. Now looking to be a 1-1 draw. Could be promising here. Archimed won't get there before Nico Gordon. 90 minutes have transpired. Divide that by 10 and you tack that much more on here, Gary.
Well, now it looks like New Mexico are the more likely ones to win it. Monterey Bay had their chances to have got a second goal and give themselves a cushion. Hasn't been taken, and now it looks like they're defending in numbers at the back.
Gloucester will track this one down. How the momentum and energy can ebb and flow and abruptly change at a given moment. Maples up ahead to Gloucester. That's too loose a touch.
And to be fair to New Mexico, we go back to Sergio Rivas hitting the post. Shortly after that, Akala had a great shot, brilliantly saved by Nico Campuzano. So they've deserved this goal. My only question would be that Monterey Bay had a couple of chances to put a second in, especially Mayela Malungo, when he got through one-on-one with Chris Shakes. And you've got to be more critical in those situations and take those chances, put them to bed when you can.
Each coaching staff will definitely be looking to punch in 3 points here with so much time added on as well. been a hotly competitive affair. Keller, I don't think that came out the way he was hoping. Offside flag goes up. Just overall
messy, wasn't it?
Yeah, just not right.
Bad throw, you're caught in an offside position. At this stage of the game, when you want to get a ball into a danger area to score a winning goal, that really wasn't the best coming from New Mexico.
So we have got 2 1-1 games happening side by side here in the Western Conference, along with Loudoun United up 2-0 against Phoenix Rising.
Again, a good result for New Mexico if Phoenix do lose.
And that's undeniably good no matter what your ambitions are, because any win for a Eastern Conference team against a Western Conference team,
you'll take it.
You take it. Quick shot taken. Zico Bailey, he scored a goal from beyond midfield against Detroit City, doing something similar, catching the goalkeeper off his line.
And that was a great strike, by the way. To knock a ball 50, almost 60 yards and get the right height, distance, and angle. Tried it again there. He saw Nico Campuzano quite a way off his line, but it has to be the, almost the perfect strike to beat a goalkeeper from that distance.
A lot of physicality there as the ball is booted up the pitch. Gloucester with Acreage in front of him. Now it's Salalam. We're in a part of the game where both players from each team are quickly calling for the ball whenever it goes out of bounds. We still have 5 more minutes to go. Here's Bailey. Finds Gloucester. New Mexico United in the thick of the playoff race. Monterey Bay, although not mathematically eliminated, just looking for positivity here in the final stretch of the season. This is one of 4 home games they have in their last 5.
It's been a good spell from New Mexico, not only to get the equalizer, they had a couple of chances before that, but since then they've really dominated the match. They're on the ball. They're the ones looking more likely to win it. And I guess they have the greater need. They want the extra 2 points to put them in a position where they'll be almost certain of being in a playoff spot, given Orange County's loss earlier today. So these extra 2 points mean a lot to the team in yellow.
Talon Maples, the center back. He strolls it forward, then connects with his center back companion. Akale finds Zalalam. You're watching the USL on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. 1-1 your scoreline, both goals scored here in the second half. It was Nyalati for Monterey Bay. And then the former Monterey Bay man, Luther Archimed, jumping up in the 6-yard box to nod home a loose ball. That in the 87th minute. A huge goal for New Mexico United. And they're looking for an even bigger one. Ivanovic to Soyberg. Soyberg gets it away. Ivanovic has Malongo. Mael Malongo stepping forward. Malongo was never on frame, and he knows it.
That's such a good breakaway there from Monterey Bay. They do the hard work here. And when Malongo gets it, he cuts inside. Does this brilliantly, opens up the gap, edge of the box, and he's just leaning backwards as he hits it. If he could have just kept his balance, get his weight over the ball and keep the ball down. He had the power. He was in the right position, just outside the box in the center. Free kick. And that's now 2 good chances Malongo's had to have won this match for Monterey Bay.
Nico Gordon went airborne there. Under 2 minutes to go. Will Monterey Bay find a goal? Neither side showing any sort of contentment with the 1-1 draw. Vonguk. One back by Zelalem. Arshamed couldn't flip that out wide. Well, that was just careless. Mukwele Akale. 2 men defending him. Sifts it inside. 1 more minute to go. Seymour goes down. And it was just at the corner of the penalty area.
Say, very lucky to make that move and for it to be just outside, literally by inches maybe, or a foot. Guzman there, just got tempted to put his foot in when perhaps would have been better off not, just outside the box.
Just a couple blades of grass. Carlos Guzman, given the yellow card, his 4th of the season. And this will probably be the final action. Of course, can never guarantee it. That's up to Matthew Corrigan to decide.
I think if you're a Akale here, you take it with your left foot and you bend it in towards the goal so that it acts both as a shot and a potential cross. And let's see what they choose to do.
It'll be Miguel and Akale behind this dead ball. A chance to claim all 3 points from the set piece. They've been given the go-ahead. Miguel curls it in. Seymour recycles it out. It's Akale. And it deflects out for a corner kick. And they will be afforded this corner kick. 1 more chance for New Mexico.
Just get it in the mix. Don't play the short corner. Give your big men a chance to give you a winning goal in the last kick of the match.
From the right corner flag, it's Mukwele Akale. Headed off target. And that's the final action of the match. A hard-fought affair between Monterey Bay and New Mexico United. Both sides will go home with the point. It is a 1-1 scoreline. We'll wrap up all of our thoughts on the other end of this commercial break. Post-game coming up next on the CBS Sports Golazo Network.
Are you paying too much for your car insurance? Call Coast Auto Insurance to receive a free quote and see how much you could save. Coast works with over 50 different insurance companies to make sure you get the best rate for your car, motorcycle, home, or business. Coast is a local company with local people. We do vehicle registration, SR22, and insurance for Mexico. Call Coast Auto Insurance today for a free quote and see how much we can save you. Or go to coastautoinsurance.com, where your peace of mind is guaranteed.
Postgame from Seaside. A goal scored apiece, a point shared apiece for Monterey Bay and New Mexico United. Mark Schoenster, Gary Bailey with you for one last segment here on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. Here are your full-time highlights starting in the 28th minute. A lot of opportunities in the first half of action for the home team, but it was the same old story for them. For one reason or another, it wouldn't go through.
And that reason is Chris Shake's brilliant tip over from that Rebelar deflected shot. And then second half, Noalati here gets the ball into the box. Scott fight for it, and it just comes loose to Noalati. He tucks it in the corner, and the home side have a 1-0 lead.
They take the lead. Now could they hang on to it? New Mexico United tasked with finding a response. The side with more to lose in this game. So it turns into a little bit more of a desperation mode for Dennis Sanchez's unit, and they nearly found the equalizer here. Almost picture perfect, but not quite. Dings the left post, and they would have to keep searching.
That was Sergio Rivas with that shot, and that was so close. After that, Akale forces Campuzano into a save. Then Akale through to Bailey. He pulls it back. Akale gets a block, and then Arshame gets his head on it. The former Monterey Bay guy is the guy who delivers the blow that gets the point on the road for New Mexico United.
1-1 your final score, and this is how it shakes up in the standings because of it. New Mexico United still right in the thick of the race. Monterey Bay down at the bottom of the standings with one more game played than the likes of Las Vegas, and 2 more and 3 more than the teams sitting right above them. They know that their playoff chances have been dwindling away, but still a positive performance from the home side. New Mexico United, though, will be taking that point and running with it. Their next game will be on Wednesday on the road against Colorado Springs. Meanwhile, Monterey Bay will stay at home and play Sac Republic, the second-place team in the conference. It'll be another tough matchup for Jordan Stewart's side. But that is where this show will end on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. For our entire broadcasting crew, for Gary Bailey, my name is Mark Schoenster. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Your final score, 1-1 between these two sides. Have a good night, and we'll see you later.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.